116,000 deficit at the moment in the country.
Yes.
There is the position of the chief administrative position secretaries in the country. Let's go hypothetical by the number that the former president appointed, 29. You will require 2 billion to maintain all the CISs who will be appointed, though this is not envisioned in the constitution. Why then not refocus this priority? Because this money can employ 5,714 teachers and also employ the 4,000 unemployed doctors in the country. I mean, talking about in the midst of austerity. Why do you need the CAS position, for example?
Well, to start with, in matters teachers, there is a very big gap, the way you have said. In 6 months, the Ruto administration has done something that has never been done in the history of this country. We have employed 35,000 teachers so that we can start bridging the gap. Next year we'll do another 35,000. We had initially wanted to do it in 2 years, 116,000. It was in our plan. But on reaching here where we are, and looking at the economy and the performance of the economy, we found that we cannot fill the gap in 2 years. It needs to be spread across 5 years. But we have started somewhere. We have now rolled out the employment of 35,000 teachers, and that will really be a big relief to our schools. On the issue of saying that if we don't appoint the CSs, then it can go to the teachers. The same argument would, why don't you do away with the deputy president so that we can employ the teachers? I don't think that argument will hold. The president, in his wisdom and governance structure, from time to time will determine the levels of support that he requires to govern. We have found a country that is in a hole. We are trying to get out of that hole. We have found, like now, the Minister of Agriculture is always out of the country for a good reason, looking for maize. He was in Morocco looking for fertilizer. He was in Zambia looking for this. He was in that. He is hardly in the country. And he is not out there having leisure. He's working. He needs to leave somebody here to handle other matters that are supposed to be handled by the minister. Because the PS is there. Okay. He is the accounting officer of the ministry. But at the policy level, there is a gap. I was looking for CS Linturi last week. I was going to the agricultural show in Eldoret. And he was not here. He was in some country where the president had sent him. If there was a CAS, that is a person I would have gone to the Eldoret show, so that he can make whatever policy pronouncements that he needs to make as a minister there. But I had to recall Inturi from wherever he was. He stopped what he was doing to come back so that we go for the show. Because what happens when you go to meet farmers, when you go to meet exhibitors, there are certain issues that will be raised that needs the minister to be there to make an answer. So, from where I sit, listening to the president, assisting him in the management of the affairs of this country, chairing the cabinet committees, there is a gap. There is a serious gap. And we need another level of helpers to enable us execute our mandate. And the president and I and the rest of us are persuaded that the costs, the benefit of having the CSs will outweigh the cost to it. Okay. So that we have another level. And you see, even previously, during those years, there was a minister, there was an assistant minister. When the minister is not there, the assistant minister will go to parliament and answer questions. We are reaching a place where we are getting stuck because, you know, as a country, we have agreed that the model of development is PPP, public-private partnership. We have a lot of work to do to engage with investors across the world. This means that the cabinet secretaries at their level needs to travel to enter into agreements with various countries, with various investors. And what happens when they are not there? There is a gap. So in the next few days, the president will name the CSs, and by the way, it's a recommendation by the Public Service Commission, and those people will go to Parliament, they will be vetted. Then they will come and add value to the government by assisting the cabinet secretaries and by filling that gap where we are getting caught up in situations that are not very neat in terms of service delivery.
Thank you.
We have under 10 minutes to go, and we have a serious issue insofar as our security is concerned. We have woken up to a serious declaration by the CS, and then the announcement that in 7 months, 135 Kenyans have died, including 20 security officers. In 1 week alone, Samburu West, areas of Malaso, Pura, and Kurkuru, a dozen killed. 6 people killed in Tot Marakwet. At the time, we have a multi-agency operation on the ground. Is this war winnable, or it's just another, for lack of a better word, waste of time and resources? How do you reconcile the fact that we have a very serious operation ongoing and people are dying? And starting tomorrow morning, there are areas that civilians have been ordered to vacate, meaning that it is another humanitarian crisis. What are the measures to handle this crisis? And yes, did the government think through this humanitarian crisis that will emanate from tomorrow 8:30?
Thank you very much. I, Rigathi Gachagwa, come from a security background. I have, for 15 years, been involved in matter security. I am trained. I'm a paramilitary officer. I'm trained in weapon handling, in basic combat skills. I understand this topic. President William Ruto has made a decision, and I support him 100%, that this cattle rustling and banditry menace and the nonsense around it must come to an end. It's a difficult decision. It has to be done. There is a lot of impunity in the North Rift and other areas that are prone to security challenges. What has happened is that previously, anytime an operation is ordered, previous leaders have taken political considerations and stopped the operations. When leaders make noise, because of the elections, they stop the operations. So the raiders, the bandits, have been embodied by impunity because they know an operation will be ordered, noise will be made, and it will be stopped. In fact, sometimes they have been sneaking to a neighboring country for a few months, and then they come back. I want to tell the people of Kenya, this operation will go on for 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it takes until sanity is restored in the North Rift. What has happened is that when we ordered this operation, and the president asked the military to come in to support the IG, and I really want to thank and commend Professor Kithure Kindiki for his leadership in this matter. He's a cool guy. Many people had demeaned him because of his size and height, and he doesn't shout too much and doesn't have too much bravado. But he has planned well. I have listened to him. We have listened to the commanders. They have got a good plan. What has happened is that these bandits in Suguta Valley and other gorges are using women and children as a human shield so that they can stop the security officers from carrying out their work. An order has been given, all those areas where the bandits are, for people to leave, the women and the children, and they have been given a deadline. Those who don't leave, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They have to leave. These bandits cannot hold the government at ransom anymore.
Thank you.
We are tired. This matter must be sorted out once and for all, and we are not going to allow criminals and bandits to use women and children as human shield. An ultimatum has been given. We are going to send people with planes and megaphones and ask the women and the children to leave, and leave us to face with the bandits. We are willing to have an engagement with them one-to-one.
Thank you.
If the bandits want to leave too, they can leave.
Okay.
But we are asking the bandits to ask their women and children to leave those areas.
Thank you.
And then we can have one-to-one engagement. But this government is a government that will sort out that nonsense once and for all.
Thank you, Your Excellency. At the best interest of time, we have to leave it there. Many thanks for your hospitality, and we thank you for heeding our invitation to talk to the Kenyan people on vast array of issues. Of course, because of their extensive nature, they can't be done within the time frame allocated always on television, but we appreciate your company and your availability, and we look forward to many more engagements. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And this is not right. You are not gender sensitive. Next time you have an interview with me, if you are not gender sensitive, I will not allow you in, even if you accuse me of not respecting press freedom. I think you guys have been criticizing us.
Thank you.
For the two-third gender rule.
Asante.
And here you are practicing discrimination. But I want to thank you for the interview.
Okay.
And we respect press freedom.
Yes.
And we ask you to be objective.
Well, that is
be fair.
The surety that Kenyans are waiting for. Asante sana. Thank you so much. Tunanso Kware, my colleague from the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, Jesse Rogers from KTN News and Standard Group Limited by extension, Duncan Khaimba from Nation Media Group, NTV, that is Giverson Minor from K24 and MediaMax, and Eric Monene from TV47 and Radio 47 as well, set for launch tomorrow. And thank you, Your Excellency, for your time and company. Thank you to you too, the Kenyan people, for watching. We aspire to be objective, professional, as we are your avenues for getting information from Kenya and across the world. And we aspire and pledge to hold those in power to account, since all power and sovereignty belongs to you, the Kenyan people. Thank you for watching, and have a good evening.